Hey guys, so I came across this thread. What tips do you give someone interested to come D&D? Well, I don't know if the D&D part's a good part, but
yeah,
I thought, we're going to do this as like a podcast. We might touch the thread, we might jump into the thread in and out, but I think if we just weave something together. I kind of just want to actually no, I'm probably gonna have to leave it to the end because the book's absolutely vile. Leave it. I'm gonna call it like a special announcement. So just stay to the end. Trust me, I've never seen an RPG book like this before, and I got sent it to review, and we will probably talk about it. But I just want to get you guys aware that something like this even exists. So,
me and James are trying, hey, look about he's like, look at my book. try to look at it. Put that shit down.
Yeah, honest to God, it's one of those ones where it's been a long. Who was it? There was someone. I think it was one of my uncles had a book and it had a really scary cover on it. I couldn't tell you what, but I remember I was quite
scary.
Yeah, I was 3 at the time, and I remember being really freaked out by it. And I think that's the only time I remember actually not wanting to pick up a book and look at it, bar this one. So that I would call that an achievement, if I be honest with you. It's not often you come across something that's I don't even want to pick that up. My curiosity may be getting the best of me, but at the same time, I can't help but heave at the cover art, if you can call it art. I'm not going to call it art, if I be honest with you. But that's for the end of the video. What tips would you give someone?
Was this AI generated?
I please hope it wasn't. I definitely hope it wasn't. But
computer, calculate this turd.
So what tips do you give someone? And I think one of the problems. I think that it's particularly us on this channel. We've done so many D&D horror story ones. I think so many people are absolutely terrified at the thought of being a DM a lot of the time. I think just go with it and just be unapologetic. Just be yourself, bro. You know what I mean?
Just be yourself, bro. Yeah.
Trust me, just be yourself. I think
the worst they can say is no.
Yeah, or they laugh at you, or they tease you, or you end up being we end up, oh my god, we end up becoming a story and then that. No, you know what I mean. But what problems people have. So the first thing I would say is really learning those. I think a lot of people are scared. That's one of the big ones. They want to try and get it all right. Goal zero is a thing. I know some people really bang on about goals as lit. What would your reviews be on goals as lit and Garbu? For me personally, I go hardcore goals as lit for war games. So I do, because I think war games are competitive, and I'm more than I think everyone should have the fair, even we should all be playing the same goals if we're playing a competitive game. Goal playing games on the other hand, they're cooperative, so therefore I don't really mind if I'm a DM if I think I wouldn't fudge dice, but I would, be a bit more lenient. Would that be fair to say? Is that something that you would do, or how would you approach the topic?
Well, I'll agree with one thing, is that with war games, it is rules as written, because you're not really telling a story, you're trying to win a combat scenario. And if you have some guy who says, "Nuh-uh, you can't, my shield was up," the game's not going to be fun. While RPGs are all about a joint storytelling narrative. So when it comes to war games, if you go off rules, I'm gonna fucking kick your throat, because there are rules to war games.
Yes, there's goals for a fucking reason, guys. Just keep to the goals. No one likes a cheat. You know what I mean? That's just what it comes down to.
While with RPGs, you could do rules as written and kind of treat it like a war game, but even my rule set, any rule set, there are times where the rules as written is going to completely ruin a story you're trying to tell. And it's why I believe that with rule sets like D&D or Pathfinder or whatever else have you, it's treat it more like heavy guidelines, where while you should use those rules, you can put your toe out every once in a while to make something interesting. And your players are going to try and use that system to beat you regardless. So there's always a guy who's like, did you pre-read this adventure?
Yeah.
So they know it's going to go on.
Yeah.
They're
going to come across a very rare and mysterious monster. It's you can't do that. That's immune to so and so. It's you really shouldn't be. Just because the players read the monster manual, they shouldn't be penalized, but they shouldn't do that in character either. So if you want to move stuff about, who cares? You know what I I mean?
My source, I made it the fuck up.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Kind of
Exactly. And I think like that would be a big one for me. I think that's one of the things. So like honestly, yeah, learn the goals. You should. I think if you're player first, you will get there in time, no matter what. But like honestly, I don't think. I think if you've been playing a system weekly for what, like, let's say 6 months, you should be more than able to be a competent DM when it comes to. Is that fair to say?
Well, even then, you to know the rules is the best thing to do, because you can be more proficient at your DMing. But you don't really have to know rules, because there are guys who will say, "Go, I'll be the DM, fuck it," and they just wing fucking everything.
Yes.
Like, yeah, roll. I was at a game store when this one game store was still open in Wichita, and as a guy who I could just hear he had no idea what the fuck he was doing, and he goes, "You know what? Roll athletics for that." And the guy's like, "I'm trying to open a door. I gotta roll athletics."
Oh God.
He was winging that shit. And I was like, man, but the thing is, he was still telling a good story. And while the players were heavily confused, they were having a good time.
Yeah,
so
that's important. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. For the most part, you should focus on both you and your players having a good time during this game session. Because there are guys who know the rules back and forward, but can't tell a goddamn story to save their lives. They're running... They're running like Curse of Strahd in reverse, because that's all they know how to do.
Well, the thing is, like, you know, you can, like, it is very, like, it's very possible to just let the dice tell the story. Like, if you're not proficient at it, like, what did the dice lead? Okay, just go with that. I think improvisation is a thing that you're gonna have to get good at. You know, whether you like it or not. I do think improvisation is important, because no one likes a little DM, and you know, sometimes players are just gonna do shit. Again, okay, well, we lead into the next part about prep. Like, Garbo, have you ever prepped in your games ever?
I do what's called advanced prep, where when the month starts, I'll iron out all my beats to the story, and I have so basically on the 1st of August, I'll go in and go, all right, they're here. We'll put up, I don't know, 7 forks they can kind of work off of, and that can also lean off of in case they go off brand, because all my players go off script every fucking chance they get. So I gave up about that kind of shit, and I started having where I had seven beats I could work off of, and those beats have their own beats. So say like they decide to go completely wildly off those beats where I didn't plan for like when they killed so just recently with the remnants party, they player killed a member of the party for doing too many war crimes. There was a birthday party, C4 happened, the players didn't like it. Okay. And
he was having fun, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Okay.
But more or less they got mad because Sonny, like, he was, you know what, I'm gonna leave, because basically the gods went, hey yo, kill that dude. So they basically, like, the gods sent out in a fucking APV on Sonny, like, hey, kill that motherfucker right now. He just killed like 20 kids having a birthday party. And so one of the players reached out, and I did not plan for that at all. I thought they were gonna let him live. He would come back as a villain or whatever. Instead, one of the players reached out to the mad god of knowledge, that, hey, because in my game there are things called scuttlers, which are grenades with feet that can walk around and chase you and shit.
Yeah.
And in Sonny's backpack, he had like 8 fucking scuttlers. So he has like these 8 grenades strapped to his back, but they need an activation word they didn't know yet. So one of the players, Madcap, what was his name, Sob, the mad god, he goes, hey, what's the activation code on those grenades? And Sob went, butterscotch. And those grenades went off and killed Sonny. So I was like, fuck. So a lot of times you have to work off your feet. You have to have improv. Yeah. If you're a person who really lacks improv skills, you're gonna fucking suffer. You're gonna lock up. There are times when new DMs have like performance anxiety, which, you know, all us men understand that particular vibe. Yeah. But someone's gonna do something, and if you're not hot on those beats where they pick it up and keep on going, you're gonna lock up and you're gonna go and then you're like picture,
stop. You know,
picture like a brand new DM. You got like, I don't know, 6 players in front of you around this table, and they're all staring at you, going, "What now, DM? What we do? What's the story, DM?" You're like,
It's like IRL lagging game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my only advice to that, like, say if you're bad or if you're worried about loading, or like you don't want to be like that, I would say just put them in a dungeon. You know what I mean? Give them like one way forward. Go. You know what I mean? Like, if you let them like wander the countryside, that can be
Neckbeardia, that's railroading.
Yeah. Well, if they don't realize that you're good, all right, and if you're not experienced at it, like, you know, just honestly, and the thing is, see if you're like a first time DM, you can just turn around and would say to the guys, like, look, guys, this is my first time doing this. It's probably going to be a bit of a mess, but like, I'm going to try and like point you in like in the direction that I've kind of got in mind. But like, you know, look, if we'll just see what happens. But like, just be aware, I might have to like finish the game a wee bit early because I don't really know where to go with it, and I'll need time to think about that. Like, just to give you guys a heads up. Is that really heresy to say to someone? You know?
Well,
what I mean?
it's more or less called a stealth railroad, where you it's basically the illusion of free choice. Like, oh yeah, you could probably do that, but still you're still on a railroad. It's covered in like fucking foliage and leaves and shit. Like, is there a railroad here? I don't know.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I've got a brilliant one. So what you do is, like, you know, say, oh, like, so we're going here. So you could throw out a few ideas, or like, you know, you could pretend to let something slip, like, oh, you know, this, I don't know, actually, like, you know, pretend, like, you know, and make the players think they're going to get away with something. You know what I mean? Like, be like, oh,
They're being a fed.
Yeah, pretend like, oh yeah, there's something over here. Actually, you know what? No, forget about that.
Pretend you're working for the CIA and implanting their brains.
Yeah, do some like MK Ultra type of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, let them believe that they're going to get away with something. Let them believe that, like, oh yeah, there's this here thing here. Oh, I don't know, I haven't really prepped for it or anything. You know what? Forget about that. And then, you know what? They're going to be a wee bit intrigued. They're going to be like, oh, what is that? So, like, you know, you're pointing.
Why does he wants to go there? Like, basically, you're like they're trying to like lay down breadcrumbs. Like, I hope you guys don't go in this dark, mysterious woods.
Yeah,
It'd be a shame if y'all went in here. I have no plans for the elven forest. You're like, what's he hiding?
Yeah, like, honest to God, you can't do that pretty easily. You can make the players believe, like, oh, they don't. Oh, if players know that you don't really want to do something, they're gonna be like, oh, come on, let's do it. It'll be a bit of fun. Or like, give them like, oh yeah, you know, we could do this, we do that. Like, you know, what do you guys have in mind for this session? Like, is there anything you guys want to do in particular before we jump into this? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, do something like that. And I think that's a good way of doing it. Like, do the one that you've actually prepped. You know, and again, the other thing is like, I would like see. This is a big problem for me. This is one of my biggest problems I have with Gap is setting up 20. It's just a nightmare, so it is. And,
oh yeah.
And same way with Foundry, honestly. Like, see, getting all the maps set up, and I love handouts. I love handouts.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I'll go through, I'll take screenshots from like PDFs and have it all set up, and then also I like to put the monsters in and have it all set in, and it just takes me forever. Like, honest to God, like, see the amount of time it takes me to actually set that up would be the same amount of time it to run that adventure. I'm not even joking. It just takes me a long time to do these sort of things, and that's one of my biggest problems.
It's one of the first I preload all my fucking maps in the Foundry. I can just click them. But the thing is, if you're an in-person DM, it's far easier to pull out your sheet. Here we go. Here's the map. You're good to go.
Yeah.
With digital DMing, you gotta get your tokens in place, you got your map in place. It's just so much harder being a digital DM.
Yeah.
But
it can be. So that's some things like that I think for myself personally is like, James, I really don't need to sweat this. Why am I for instance, sometimes I think it's like, why am I putting all this in 20 whenever we're playing over Discord anyway? Why don't I just put it into the group chat? You know what I mean? Like, why do I not just put it into the VC and call it a day? You know, but sometimes it's, I don't know, maybe it's like, no, but I really want this set up perfectly. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. That's honestly why I play Death Frost Doom so much. Like, the reason why I play Death Frost Doom is because I've got it all set up in level 20. I'm not even joking. I really like the adventure. I think it's a lot of fun, and I don't mind running it again and again because there's a lot of mystery and intrigue, so it's good to see how the players react to it. And like, honestly, there's tons of like TPA stuff in it anyway, so like the chance of them dying, like, you know, prefer the like halfway. So, you know, I don't know, I always like, there's a lot of toys to torture players with in it, so I think that's a good one for me. What would be up next? So don't sweat the goals so much, don't sweat your prep so much. What's next? What would you say?
Mind you, have some prep. But
yeah, have some prep, but like, honestly, don't go like OCD on it. Like, you know, that, I should say that to myself, because I feel like I go OCD when it comes to prep work and stuff like that. Like, I would sit down, I'd read the adventure, I would be like, all right, I really like this one, so I'll run this one next, and then I get it all set up in level 20, and then I sit down the night before, and then I read it over again. And honestly, I don't really need to be doing that, if I be honest with you. Like, I really don't need to be time to get it ready, but it's, I don't know, maybe that's, you know.
I think the next thing I gotta worry about is simply training yourself to think on your feet, and as me, I'm always pre-processing shit in my brain about what they're gonna do. You're constantly removing and redoing and reevaluating thoughts and ideas of what these assholes are gonna do in this little plot point you have set up. Like, if someone's talking about doing X, Y, and Z, already start planning for that shit, because you have to. Because if they jump on that, oh, that sounds great. If you're already thinking about it and already kind of have a notebook, whether you are digital or traditional DM. Have a little I have a little. It's called a fucking fat boy notebook in front of me at all times.
I need to get myself a notebook. Honestly, I feel like what I use Discord. So I've got like about 50 Discords, and I use them all differently for like projects, and like I just dump into like different channels, like my notes, but it's so scattered. I need to just get a journal at this point. But my handwriting's appalling, and I take to write anything down. It's like, no, I need to type.
Like me, mine right here is basically all like coordinates, grids, and enemies I pre-laid out. Like when you guys said, well, I think we're gonna go, well, it's like one place said, well, what about the orcs coming in? I have a full page written down of like troop projection, unit sizes already written out. And then move past, like, all right, flip page, whoosh, off you go. So always be writing down stuff and taking notes about what your players are inkling about doing, because you always have to be ready to jump on whatever the hell these fucking lunatics decide to do. Because your players are basically like ADD addicted fucking meth heads who like, I don't go craft a pair of armor. Let's fucking rob this house. You're like, what the fuck? So you gotta be able to
I can't argue with that. I fall into that category. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Are these Catholic or Protestant potatoes? Said the dwarf.
Here. It's memorable though, innit? You're still talking about it. You can't say it wasn't a good session though.
That quote is fucking minging.
It's burned into your fucking memory banks. You know what I mean? At this point, like you're not going to be able to forget about it anytime soon. So I'm sorry, Garb, but that's just the way you're going to have to live from now on. Like you can complain about it all you like, but it was a good idea at the time. All right.
I'm sorry, Garb, inside you now.
No! Live and free inside your brain, like that. Why do you think about me all the time?
Free forever.
Yeah. So what else? Where can we go from here? So again, what are some other things that DMs really struggle with? What is it you think Pits do?
Understanding encounters and having to balance out encounters.
Oh, don't even bother balancing shit. Just shut up, people, and
well, I mean, if you're really heavy-handed, the players are gonna whine. Oh my god, DM, how can you do that? We're like level 2. It's like,
okay.
Please, so DM, stop giving me my heart. Our hardest battles. It was 2 rats.
So
like that kind of shit.
This is the point where I'm at, where I first that don't have levels, where it's like you just gotta get good or work out some way of like you've always got the opportunity. You know what I mean? Most of the time you can, come to think of it, like I'll give you my best example of an adventure that I was on. It was Tales of the Scarecrow, and Tales of the Scarecrow is a lamentation adventure, and pretty much it's like you have to just make it. It's really weird. Check it out. I'll send you the PDF, Garb. It's actually a really cool book. So it is. It's only like a 10-page adventure. So it is. But anyway. So. Essentially, there is a farm, and the farm's got all this like corn growing on it, and it's being like the countryside, and like this was famine and all this stuff. So anyway, if you go to the house, if you go into the cornfield, there's like a elder god underneath it, like everyone, but he can't touch the house. He's directly underneath the house, but he can touch and fuck you up with something. So pretty much I give him like a few hundred hit points, and it was one of those ones I didn't expect them to kill him. I expected them to maybe be able to evade it or somehow work around it. What my solution was that the scarecrow in it needed a body. So I tried to convince all the party members individually. I took them off in chats and tried to convince them to skin one of the other players alive. Try and pit them off against each other. It's like, well, you kill one of them, the rest of you are going to survive. They didn't end up falling for it in the end. Mittens, he has a spoon. He's got a spoon where if you from the spoon, you will you'll starve to death essentially. And the whole thing I put in was, so the Elder Breen was Hunger Breen. So there was already a dead body there. So Mittens went off, talked to the Elder Breen, and fed it some like horse greens or whatever. And they just waited it out for 3 days. So they did, because that's what it said. It said on the spoon. It was supposed to be after like 3 days they'll just die, but like they can't eat or whatever. And they killed a god, so they did, by trickery, which I'll give them credit where credit's due. Not bad at all. Pretty cash money.
You're level 1. How did you do this? Behold.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like he was able to kill something by just working with. Don't get me wrong, that spin is kind of a P. But like use a bit of trickery. There was a few other ways that they could have done it. But I'll give him point. Like they were even to kill it. Which I thought was amazing. If I'll be honest with you, I was like, you know what? I'll just give it to you guys. Fuck, that's next level. Actually, very cool. I'll let you away with that one. But again, it's stuff like that. I honestly don't care for balancing encounter at all at this point. I've kind of got a rough idea of what will and kill them, so I'll just throw shit at them that they probably won't die, but but just see what happens. It's like modern day scientists. What the fuck are scientists up to these days? You hear all these like experiments where it's like, yeah, we put a load of Smarties up a rat's asshole. On average, it's like you can put like 10 Smarties up a rat's asshole before it dies. You know what I mean? I feel like that, like a mad scientist. I don't know
Who
where
asked for this knowledge. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like, you get what I'm trying to say. Like, sometimes there's studies and stuff. It's like, who was asking questions? Like, well, just so you know, that's how you do it.
Just in case. In case of what?
Yeah, but that's how I do it. All right, I don't even bother about at all these days. I just let what happens. You know what I mean? Let the dice decide.
I generally try to have a balanced encounter, but there are times where I want players to run, and I want like there are a lot of times like when I unleashed a actual like murder suspect on the players to make them know that I wasn't fucking around, I will kill them.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where like if they run, they'll be fine. But like, you know, we're gonna try and fight it. Cool. So I killed one. Like, oh, we're gonna run now, and they fucking just took off. Because it's like, I need to understand that they're not the hero. Because a lot of times, depending on how your playstyle is, you want your players to be the hero, right? Or you guys are the saviors of the realm, yada yada. I don't play that game. I go, you guys are fucking mooks until I say you're not.
Yeah, pretty much. I would agree with that. You know, that's one thing I do really like about Dungeon Crawl Classic, where players start as level 0 characters, essentially, where they start off as essentially peasant. So it's like, you can run a load of them until eventually you hit level 1 and then you're an adventurer. Does that make sense? Like, you get leveling up almost, if that makes any sense. Like, can you kill the giant rats in the Tavern Beast? You know what I mean? Are you going to be able to pull that off? Okay, there you go.
Classic.
Yeah. Do you ever hear that story though? That was a great story time.
Yeah. Hello, adventures. I have rats in my basement. Could you help me kill them?
Here, well, you did it. You did a good one of that with the thing of that same adventure where we set the town on fire.
You tell the rats.
Yeah, you
cool.
Tell the story.
We will solve this problem. So I had the guys roll up to this village, and I was like, all right, I have them do a little pest control. And I said, hey, you know, the innkeeper's going, hey, my inn's full of rats. You know, if you guys can take care of that when you all can, yada yada. And these guys go, you know what? How about we threw a flame trap? You know, or some shit. Like, y'all had some kind of plan to use fire to flush these rats out. And after like 3 nat 1s, someone just, I guess, just dropped a torch or a jar of explosives.
Yeah, it was something along those lines.
And it caught that fucking inn on fire. Well, the rats like, oh my god, we're on fire. So the rats run to all the other houses to escape the flames and set the other houses on fire because there's flaming rats running around. Basically, like the fucking like Roman tactic of like, flaming pigs. So like these flaming rats are running because they're stuck with this pitch or whatever the fuck you guys had. The rats are running away, covered in like flaming pitch, and they get into like these straw houses and shit and set those fuckers on fire. So your party's sitting there watching this town slowly start to smoke and light on fire. Like y'all removed an entire town, didn't you, or some shit?
Yeah, I think so. Like we just kind of lagged it. So we kind of got out and like pretend we were never there to begin with.
Time to hit the old dusty trail. We'll go on and move out of here.
Yeah.
Hey guys, do you like models in your tabletop role-playing games? 'Cause we do too. Do you like having big bitty waifus on your table? 'Cause we do too. We got human biddies, we got lizard biddies, we got orc biddies, oni biddies, cat bussies. We've got everything you want at neckbeardia.co.uk.
Check the links down below, it helps us out a lot.
Sorry for interrupting the video, let's get on with the story. Also, the winner of the daily giveaway is this guy. Yay, woo! Woo!
Look, anyway, in for a chance to win, all you gotta do is like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, automatically entered in.
And to claim the prize, you just send an email to neckbeardiacontact@gmail.com. Let's get back to the video.
Right, so what else? What do you want to move on to? Maybe, do you want to... players, like DMs that just won't say fucking no to their players. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yes.
If a player has a
pushover GM.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. If your players have, like, a really cool idea, let them, I honestly let them work away with it. I'm on board for that sort of thing. Like, sometimes players are going to come up with either retarded or genius ideas, and sometimes they're going to work, and sometimes they're not. I would honestly say let the dice aside, but if it's, like, genuinely fucking ridiculous, and it's like, but you don't get it, I'm, like, gonna, like, look, man, you're going to need, like, a nat 20.
I'll use this orphan's body body as a flesh puppet to try and tell the guards. Like, bro,
you're never gonna Weekend at Bernie's. You're never gonna be able to pull that one off. Sorry, like unless you're like literally a necromancer, I'll let you have that one. And unless you're a necromancer, then you can use the dead body trick, but like no one else. Sometimes
the old dead body trick.
Look, if you can pull it off, I'll let you have it, but like you need to have the ability to be able to pull it off. If it's so fucking far out there, I'd also see like will we touch on the whole heckin' nat 20? Do you want to touch on that?
Okay, because, I will touch on this.
I feel like it's worth bringing up. Again, it's like you don't get it, DM. I go to nat 20. That means I get to do whatever the fuck I want for this turn.
For some reason, the nat 20, nat 1, I partially blame Critical Role for this shit. Has more or less, it's made it like a get out of jail free card, and at no point should a natural 20 break anything. A natural 20 merely means at most the best possible outcome can happen. Mind you still gotta calculate what that roll was. 20 plus what? Like if you watch your players' faces fall with to reality, you go okay plus what, and you watch their but the heck 20 plus what? And watch their fucking balloons deflate.
Yeah, I've actually got that.
But the hecking 20. But Reddit said, that kind of shit.
I've actually got that in dice. It's like for some of them, it's written down like it gives you advice. So it would be like very easy, normal, difficult, very difficult, and then eventually it gets to should not be possible, and should not be possible.
Impossible.
Like, should not be possible is like 25 plus. You know what I mean? So again, you're going to need to have our max stat is a +5 for Dice and Demons, so you're going to have max at your stat and also be able to hit that nat 20 to be able to pull that off. So I think that's I think it works pretty well from the test plan that I've got so far. It seems to be working. Is there anything else you could add to this when it comes to like just saying to players?
For sure. Like when it comes to nat 20, you first tell them to calm the fuck down, because I guarantee they've read some Reddit story where like I talked to a god, like nat 20. You go calm down. This merely means the best. If you even roll it that way, technically 20s don't even mean shit. The heckin' nat 20 is actually a newer thing, because like a nat 20. So basically what we used to mean was I have the highest dice value I can roll, 20, which means I usually will succeed that DC. Now it got kind of mutated, like I always win. It's not how that works. Now usually, because of how Gary Gygax did his math, he used not raw numbers, he used a calculation. So getting a nat 20 meant you're going to roll the highest possible numerical value you can for your level's DC. So say like you get a +5, like okay, that's fine, I got +5, I gotta beat a 15 or a 16, and you get boom 20. It means you're going to score 25, which means you're going to beat most DCs in that game at your level. It's a big deal because it means you're going to auto succeed for that DC. It does not mean you're going to go like you're going to rip a fucking portal through hell and fucking clap a demon's cheeks live in the middle of the fucking combat. It's simply you rolled the highest value on the D20, and the DC you're trying to beat is beat. So it got pretty kind of hyped because you're like, oh yeah, I got the highest value of my DC, means I succeed, because basically a 25 or 25 is a fucking big roll to have. If you're level 6 or 7, usually like +8 or some shit, +10, depending on what kind of game you're running. So it's like, holy shit, I got the highest DC. It's not nat 20, I heckin' automatically win. It mostly means that. And I think somewhere in there, I don't know when it happened, but it got like mutated and it grew in its own thing to where it meant like, oh, I auto succeed. It's like that's not what you still gotta calculate.
I think what it would be is more to do with, as you say, with 20 theater. You're putting on a show. You want a really good outcome. It's a good crescendo. You know what I mean? So it's like a good piece. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, really for sure. You could use it as an entertainment piece. Like in my game, the Villar system, a nat 20 on combat refunds your AP cost. So it's called brutalese. So you're so in with the combat, you're fucking going high speed in that combat, and it refunds your AP. So a nat 20 does mean something for combat. It's not an auto hit. It's not an auto hit. It just refunds your AP. So you still get that little bit of endorphin rush from it. Yeah. It rewards that lucky strike. But it's not like you're not going to like put a bullet down a barrel of a tank and set a goddamn HE round up or something.
Oh, also, while we're on the topic of critical and whatnot, so I've got the critical combat, I'm calling it, for Dice and Demons. So I think this will lead into the next point, and I think a lot of people have this combat, and a lot of people's combat's boring, but I think that's a 5e issue, if I be completely honest with you. I think that's more of a system issue. I think people can make 5e combat a lot more fun, but it's kind of hard with just those using. So, you know, and play a better system, guys. I'm sorry. But
try playing. Well, I mean, and also, real quick, we'll touch on that. You don't have to play D&D 5e or D&Done. You can play other systems.
Yeah.
I would encourage you as a DM just to take a little peek, because there are PDF threads on tHe where you can get a fucking PDF.
I would say there's a big difference between a GM and a D&DM. Does that make any weird sense? Like someone who only runs 5e games?
Yes.
And
so that is a thing.
That
is a thing.
And I think you will learn an awful lot more if you're willing to run other systems, because you can really, it's just what's trying it, you know what I mean? And also the other thing is, see if you come across a game system that you're really interested in, would love to play, you can't really just mold DM and be like, hey, can you run this for me, guys? You're gonna have to pick it up yourself, you know what I mean? That's just harder. Like, Gerb, would you ever run a system for someone? Like, say if someone came to you, it's like, Gerb, will you run this for me? Like, you know, it's like never heard of it, probably not even all that interested in it.
No, like I have to go in and research that system, because some systems are absolute fucking dog shit. Like Cyberpunk.
You would. Yeah, Cyberpunk is actually. Don't get me wrong. Okay, there's some stuff I've been playing about with it a wee bit, but honestly, I do kind of like 2D10s. 2D10 systems are actually kind of cool. But I don't know. I'm honestly not that fussed on Cyber. Same with Shadowrun. Honestly, Shadowrun, fuck it, whatever I could tell you.
Yeah, it's just like that. It's a great lore system. I love the concept, but they completely fucked that dog raw with doing the rule set.
I can already hear this screeching in the comments, Scarp. I'm sorry,
bro. Oh my god, the comment section. You guys don't know a lot about 40K, do you? Like, fuck off. You guys can't name every commissar made. Fucking casuals. You don't know shit about 40K. Sorry, Spurg.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Either way. Yeah, oh, so sorry, this is where I was trying to get to. So with combat, one thing that I've done that I think speeds up combat so much quicker, and also it makes, like, the players just love this shit. I think they really do it. Playing it, it makes them feel so much more deadly. So every turn, so turn 1, it's heckin' nat 20. Turn 2, it's 19 and above. Turn 3, 18 and above.
Escalation.
Yeah, so you do that, but I would have got the enemies there, one behind that, so it wouldn't be until turn 3 that the enemy have crit on 90 as well, so they do. So the players have got a wee bit of an advantage. That, and also a critical chart table is always fun. So, like, you know, yeah, you can maybe do a critical hit and you could add like bleed effect to it if you want. Like, you know, maybe they got a max so they already got a max and they got a max again. So yeah, that's decapitation right there. That's an auto kill, you know what I mean? If you can kill it by cutting off its head, like that type of shit. Like, players love that, like, honest to god. And it speeds up combat so quickly, and also it makes you not want to be in prolonged combat. You know, if a combat hits like turn 4, 5, 6, someone's dying each turn essentially. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of DMs, a lot of games, like mine, because I made sure I put this shit in. They ignore bleeding. Like, say, like a successful hit. Like, let's me and you go over the nuance of a successful hit. You successfully hit the target. What does that mean? So what I'll go and do I'm gonna do a big write up on this in my CC manual. Yeah. But a successful hit, what does that mean? So depending on what you're using and what you're fighting, it can mean many things. Like, say you're using a hammer. You have a big old war hammer, and you're gonna whack someone's pee-pee that's wearing big armor, and you whack them. Boom! A successful hit. You have enough inertia and weight damage the body underneath the armor. So you could just take away HP, sure. But what really happens when you whack someone with a fucking warhammer? You're gonna break a rib. You're gonna shatter a collarbone, internal bleeding. You're gonna, like, I don't know, break a kneecap. You can use the numbers, Mason, tell you what happens when you whack them. So say, all right, his DC, his DR, his armor rating, whatever, is 15. So you whack him, boom, you get a 16. Well, you can call that a simple chest whack. They take a little bit of blunt damage, maybe a little cheeky broken rib, nothing much. But say you roll a 26 over that 15. You can say you come down and whack their kneecap. You can tell them how they more or less shatter the kneecap of this warrior, and you're able to make the combat less number based. Like, okay, well, not like I must get 15 HP. Bink, 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 bink.
Yeah.
More of where you get more narrative. Like, okay, you rolled really high for the attack. You start a weak one.
I've got a perfect example for you. All Skeleton Party, where they deal with that paladin. That paladin.
Oh my god!
Tell that one. That's a perfect example. I'm pretty sure the paladin just kept like hacking that once though. If I be honest with you, if I remember, you tell that story. That's a good one.
So I decided I want to scare the all Skeleton Party, and I pull up a paladin, and it was an Ardor Moon's paladin. So this is a big threat for me. And of course, all spells require a DC to go off, and he kept failing his DC. And basically, I forget how I did, but basically he couldn't push past.
He got fucking fested, man.
Yeah, like I kept saying he has to try and push past the necromantic aura around Clayla. And he kept failing to push past the aura and cast a spell. And so the skeletons go, this guy's covered in fucking plate armor. How do we kill him? And they're like, well, I guess we can use our fucking fists. So they go in and they beat this fucking paladin to death in the street with their fucking fists because they needed blunt weapons because they had to because they had all swords or some shit, I think. And then and so basically they had their necromantic fists and they beat this paladin to death in the fucking road.
yeah, he got molested, so he did. That was a good one.
He got fisted in more ways than most people should ever have to in their life.
Yeah.
But don't make a combat about, okay, you did 15 HP next turn.
Yeah.
You can use those numbers to demonstrate how well they hit. Because I see a lot of stuff, and a lot of it is in D&D, where they go to, like, the DMs will go over the top. You fucking slash his face. Like, you only rolled one over the DC. It should be a mild strike.
Well, a good example would be War or Dark Heresy, if you've ever them. They do have a system in place where roll on whereabouts on the body part you hit, if that makes sense. So, like, I think it's like 95 to 100 is like a headshot, and then arms, legs, and you know what I mean? The problem with that is...
that's time.
It's a bit too crunchy for me, honestly. That's like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind a wee bit of crunch, but like it's just too much. I honestly play fast as is, so like, the idea of having to look at charts constantly it just slows combat down, and no one likes combat. But again, like, let's say you got 5 players, you say about that. Honestly, say for your first time DM, aim for 3. Just if you can't, try and aim for 3. I think 3 is a really good number. I think they'll be fine, and it'll be an easier time for them. More players you got, the harder it is to keep every team, and that will be a big one, I would say. Sorry, where the fuck was I going with this? I can't remember now.
I have no idea. You went zoom.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. What's up next? So we've covered a bit of combat, the hacking nat 20 prep. What else?
Nat ones.
Do you want to do nat ones? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So some DMs will over abuse. Yes, something bad has happened. Now you don't have to fumble. You really don't. Most times when someone rolls a nat 1 in melee combat, they roll as a fumble where you drop your weapon, which if you're even a level 2 warrior, you're not just going to drop your shit. You're better off saying a nat 1, you can roll on a table if you so wish, but they can accidentally strike someone next to them for damage, like friendly or another enemy. They can go unbalanced and move forward or backwards or sideways 5 feet in a direction of your choice. There's more you can do with a nat 1 than just you drop your axe, lol, dumbass, and have to spend one of their 2 actions to pick up their goddamn weapon. Nat 1s should be used as a nerve device, and you should never be afraid of having a nat 1 fail forward. I went on Twitter about this, and you got these fucking OSR guys, this is just trying to pander to weak players. No, a nat 1 can be allowed to fail forward.
Some of them guys are fucking insane. I honestly see some of them guys on Twitter, like, oh my fucking, like, it's like
they're kind of fucking retarded.
Like, it gets to the point where it's like, look, I'm playing this to like fuck about with me. I don't know. I don't really treat this as like the best thing is what I love about them with those, like, some of those like guys is they complain about 5 a lifestyle brand, but yet OSR is also at this point may as well be like a lifestyle brand. You know what I mean? To like some of these guys.
OSR is a thing where this is all those guys have. They have OSR, nothing else. And
I like it.
Find absolutely.
I like it. Honestly, I really enjoy OSR style games. I do really enjoy them, but at this point, I don't even know what the wording means. Like, I'll be straight up. Like, is it a mindset? Is it the way you play it? System you're playing? Honestly, I got no idea.
One second. Yeah, people bother me. So anyway, so
people on Twitter are fucking deranged. That goes without saying.
Yeah, do not listen to Twitter. If you're a new DM, don't listen to Twitter. They're fucking. These people are so wrapped up in their own turds that they forgot their own farts even smell like. Don't just.
It's fucking bad, man. You know the thing. What I love the most is like they turn around, they try and shout at you. And it's like you're having fun the wrong way. You know what I mean? It's like like it's your game.
Don't let someone tell you you're having fun in the wrong way, because there are guys who go like.
I'll do that sometimes when it comes to 5e. I can't deny sometimes I do fall into that category, but I just feel like it annoys me that people try other games. Does that make sense? Like whenever it's like.
Well, there are guys who they will only play OSR. They'll only play GURPS, or they'll only play Pathfinder, or only play D&D. Like you're allowed to go out there and play other shit. Mind you, I played all those and I know what I like now, but if you are a new player or new D&D, you should go out and see what flavor you like. So I've played in DM Pathfinder, I've played in DM D&D, and I've played in DM like 13 fucking systems, and I hated all of them so much I made my own.
Like honestly, but I think that's what happens over time. Like see, for most competent DM, I think over time you end up developing so many different high skills, and like you add and change so much. Like honestly, just make a Frankenstein monster of whatever you really enjoy. You know what I mean?
You
like,
could do that, yeah.
Like
you
that's
really could.
That's what Dice and Demons is. If I be completely honest with you, it's pretty much like a big mashup of like the goals that I actually run with. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? It's different enough. I could call it its own system. You know what I mean? There you go. There you guys. Well done. You know. But no, we kind of talked about that. Where do you want to go next? Is there anything else worth going over? Is there anything like I think we covered all the stuff that like people get worked up over. I think like,
I would like if the comments could ask us questions. So is it far easier to answer questions of things they may actually have that are specific and trying to think, well, what? Because I've been DMing for like fucking 10 years now or some shit, and I'm so ingrained in it. I forget what new DMs have to deal with. Because I've been a new DM in fucking 10 years. I have very successful green text story. You know.
Well, I think the biggest problem people have is like just being nervous. Oh, and then the biggest one I think is definitely I think it's a big problem with nerd culture as a they're terrified in case they're like, oh, but I don't like know all of this as well as what I should. You know what I mean? And then they get really like upset over that sort of stuff. And I think that's a big one for a lot of people. I would just fuck with it. And like if a player goes like, actually, it's like, well, okay, is this how you do it properly? Okay, then let's do that. But like, see if they're being a dick about it, just be like, how about no, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? This is the way I'm gonna do it.
You can negotiate with your players from time to time.
Yeah.
But when you do negotiate with players, you have to be able to tell them, shut the fuck up, I'm the DM.
Yeah.
You will have to assert your dominance more or less over your beta male players.
Yes, yeah,
but you can't let every encounter become a goddamn a fucking negotiation. You have to go, okay, no, this is how this is going. You rolled this, sit the fuck down, you failed. Next. You can't always allow them. Because if you allow players to constantly like negotiate with you to get their way, they will do it every fucking time, and you'll get nothing done. You'll spend half an hour of your play time negotiating with like tumble turd dummy fuck over here. Like, well, I think I should be able to do this because I have a +3 to athletics. Like, I don't give a fuck what you have. You rolled, you failed.
I'm okay. You know what? This like, see when it comes down to like that sort of stuff, I'd be like, okay, you know what? I'll give you advantage. If someone can give me a good enough argument, I'll give them advantage. That's pretty much the way I go for it. Like, if someone can like be like, well, I am hitting from like behind, like I'm hitting point blank right behind them, should be dead easy hit. You give me advantage. Yeah, sure, why not? I don't see any problem with that. That's the way I would go with it. Like sometimes it's like, okay,
well, that's a quick negotiation. That's like, hey, can I have this? So, you know what? Sure.
Yeah, sure.
And you got guys who spend an hour and a half trying to beat you, because there are players who just want to beat you and make you say okay, because to them it's going to sound like a drag, but some players just making you say okay, go ahead, is a victory to them, and they'll use that against you to walk all over you. No matter how much people want to say otherwise, all these games are a social combat encounter for the DM at all times.
It's problem solving with extra steps. That's what it all is. It's all role-playing games are problem solving with extra steps.
Like it sounds pretty cringe, but for the DM, you have two games playing. You have the game itself and the DM player game. Because the players, they got plenty of time between all all their actions to fuck with you and wonder how I'm gonna beat this guy, because they know their success and their sweet endorphins are all gated by you. If they can get you to break, they will get the endorphins. They'll get that release they want. They get that action they want. So they will constantly play against you and try to beat you and make you and slowly wear you down. And over time, that'll make you like me, a jaded fuck on the internet.
So, in other words, I would say to that would be like player versus DM. I would avoid that. Sure. Honestly, the best advice I ever heard was be a fan of your player, and I think that's the best I think anyone would really put on that. Honestly, like, you know, I do, like, you know, see whenever, okay, so for me, when it comes to like and stuff, I can be quite heavy with that because I pretty much just say to them, it's like, look, normally whenever I'm learning something, it's either for review, to like talk about a book, or I'm playtest. So pretty much I'm very much upfront. It's like you guys are going to this dungeon, alright guys, because I need to playtest it. I need to see if this works, and I need to see how you guys interact with it, so like they get that. Or,
well, that's, you know, playtesting issues.
Yeah, like, you know, but that's pretty much what I do most of the time. So it's like I'm just straight up with them. It's like, yeah, you guys are just gonna just want to see what happens, but like, you know, we'll just go with it.
You just lean in. You don't understand. You're going in the fucking dungeon.
Yeah, like, but you know, they get that though. Like, you know, so I suppose I'm in a very different than, you know. Is there anything else you want to bring up? We're coming up to an hour mark. I do want to talk about that book that I got given, or I got sent for review.
Go ahead. Talk about your fucking disgusting book.
So I'll put a picture of it up on. I might actually have to blur it out. They just shit. So I got sent this, and
it's literally just turd.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you the name of the guy that wrote it. He's called Shatner Turdsmith, and it's a Lamentation Flame Prince adventure, and it's called Fecal Lamb. And I think what I'll do is I'll just blur out all the poo on the cover, and then on the back. Okay. Do you want me to just read the back of the book? So. This book is an alternative dimensional setting for Lamentation Flame Princess, weird fantasy playing other traditional open game. Okay, so on the back we've got a picture of the author. Now the thing is, okay, you know what? I'll just go for it. I'm gonna have to cover this as well, turtle. And I don't know if it's like human turd or like Kaimanar. I thought it was Kaimanar, but it looks kind of slutty. Not gonna lie, man. And he's got a really serious face. So Shatner Turdsmith is the third name of the author of the Staffordshire Trading Company works. That was actually really good. Becky did that one as well.
Stafford.
Yeah, you know what? I'll need to bring that one. That one's a really weird book, but it depends on how much architecture, whether or not it's worth buying. If you really like architecture, great book, definitely check it out. But if you don't, it's like, don't. It's like 30 odd quid. So it is for a book on, like, it's a book on maps for like the 1600s. I don't know. Anyway, so by John Williams and the Juvenile Visitor for Lamentation Flame Princess, as well as the Emmy Award-winning The Midlander setting, Lancet Canyon Death, Sheep, and Murder Nights of the Dark for his own imprint. Shatner grew up in England in the 1970s, fascinated by throwing horse shit around as a kid. Somehow he grew up to be a responsible adult. In the early, he got involved in role-playing, longed to... Sorry, my eyes are one. And also the font is like turd color on a turd book, so it's actually kind of hard to. Sorry guys. The Long the Day supplement involving sticky sinks, brown subs grade. Just only now has he found a publisher desired. So yeah, it's a book about like in dimension poo. Honestly, pretty well put together book. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, it's how many pages in this? Well,
it didn't shit it out overnight. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's not the biggest book, but like, you know, it's hardback. It's really well put together. But that's a Lamentations does that. You know, look, we'll do a proper talking about the intro, because look, I got it sent a copy, okay, and I would really like Lamentations to send me more stuff to review, so I kind of have to review it.
Send me more free things.
Yeah, well, here, you know what? That's the only time I'll be like, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, a faggot celebrity, you know. I kind of like talk about role-playing games. I do that with like Kickstarters, so I do like see if I've got like a Kickstarter that I see that I really like. I'm like, yo, do you want to like send me like a copy? Like, I've already backed it, man, you know. So like, do you want to like send an early version of it and I talk about it for you guys? Here, you know what? It's a win-win for both parties. Let's be serious. You know what I mean?
Like,
all right, okay. Anyway. In other words, then, any last marks on what advice would you give to a DM? Honestly, just don't sweat
the top
it.
advice
don't
top advice
get
would be
just don't get worked up.
don't sweat it. But yeah, like you say, don't get worked up, sweat it. And if you really want to just test your toes, buy a module. It's already planned out for you.
I would say definitely. I would say buy a module. What module would you recommend? Is there any adventures that you think you would recommend to someone that was a first time?
Mine's a Van Delver sort of.
Yeah, honestly, you can't fuck that one up. Mine's a Van Delver. Really, basically, it's pretty much self-contained. There's not that much that you can. Honestly, it's just it is. It's pretty easy one to run, and it's dead cheap to pick up. I really like Death Gustin, but I don't know if I could recommend that as like a first time book, if I be honest with you. But it is a pretty solid adventure.
Slowly work your way up through stuff.
Let me think. Any other ones? Towers 2 is pretty good actually as well, but again, there's a lot there, and I think most DMs probably get a bit first time. Probably not.
I'm talking about like just first time DMing. Just go for something that's really rote and well known. You can use that to kind of practice your ad lib skills.
Oh, like, say, any system? What do you recommend? It can't be either of ours, and that's my only thing. I would say, my one's very good, but it's not out yet. So
yeah, and mine's out, but it's not out yet. And I don't know if mine is really first time DM friendly, but again, no game's gonna be first time DM friendly.
Well, honestly, I'm not even joking. I know a lot of you guys are gonna laugh at it, but Morkborg's really DM friendly, if I be honest with you, just because it's so light. Like
we're at 75 marks on the Morkborg board.
Yeah, look, I enjoy the system. Fight me, I don't care.
We've had 0 days since Morkborg was mentioned.
Look, I enjoy the system, okay, and it's really, like, honest to God, see if you can't successfully run Morkborg, you're probably not cut out to be a DM, okay? That's all I gotta say about the matter, okay? Fine. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Like, not everyone's cut out to be a DM anyway. Let's not try to cut ourselves. Like, yeah, most people can do it, but some people just aren't cut out for it. Let's be serious. Like, and that's another thing. Sometimes man's gotta know his limitations. I would like to think, like,
know his lamentations.
Yeah, well, that too. But you guys get what I'm trying to say. Like, you gotta know. Like, look, there's some things I'm good at, and there's some things I'm bad at. I know that I'm not good at this. I could probably get better in some aspects of it, but I'm never going to be able to master certain arts. You know what I mean? Or certain, like, Garbo, what would be one for you? Is there anything you can think of off the top of your head that you dog shit at?
Compassion.
Oh, well, that's okay. For me, it's like music. I like the amount of times I've tried to learn an instrument. I got no rhythm, guys. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Oh, you mean in real life? Okay, yeah. That's any string instrument, because I have these huge fucking fingers and I cannot play.
Yeah, I just can't. It's something like that. I'm sure most people, like, I would say it's probably on average, like, the amount of people that could probably learn a basic song on a guitar would probably be the same amount of people that can, like, be like a DM. Not everyone can do it. You can, but you're probably not very good at it. You know what I mean? Like, is that a
only the strong can play hot cross buns?
Yeah. Okay. I think we'll just end with the weak should fear the strong. Okay. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're
just not good enough.
You're never gonna make it. You're never gonna make it. Okay, I feel like that's pretty bad, if I'm being honest with you. Like, just fucking don't sweat it, guys. Enjoy yourself. I hope this helped someone. And if
just
you guys
give it a try.
And if there's anything we missed, or is anything you feel like we didn't bring up, let us know in the comments down below, and tell us why we're so fucking stupid, and tell us why Lil Zero is like a cancer.
You guys are so stupid. You don't know anything. I don't want to even come here anymore.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Look, I hope you guys enjoyed. Check out the models, check out Garbo stuff. Just links down below, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
All those moments we lost in time.